In a world where unpredictability is the only constant, many of us often find ourselves grappling with loss, resistance, and confusion. One day, everything seems perfectly aligned, and the next, our lives are turned upside down by events we never expected. But what if, instead of fighting against the current of change, we could trust it? What if we could learn to flow with life rather than fear it? This is the promise held within the teachings of Buddhism, a path of clarity, of acceptance, of transformation, not through control, but through surrender. In this journey, we will uncover how to embrace suffering, let go of control, and trust the invisible wisdom guiding our lives, not by escaping life, but by living it with deep awareness. Let us begin by acknowledging a universal truth. Suffering is part of life. The Buddha did not promise a life without pain. In fact, his very first teaching, the first noble truth, is that life includes suffering, or dukkha. This pain may arise through loss, rejection, illness, or uncertainty. But while pain is inevitable, the way we respond to it determines the quality of our inner life. When hardship strikes, our instinct is to resist. We wish things were different. We yearn for the past or rush to fix the present. But Buddhism offers a radical reframe. Pain is not our enemy. It is our teacher. Just like fire purifies gold, life's challenges reveal our inner resilience. Suffering isn't here to punish. It's here to awaken. Behind every moment of discomfort lies the seed of transformation. We only need to look with new eyes. There's an old Buddhist tale that illustrates this truth. A student, overwhelmed by life's difficulties, approached his teacher. The master asked him to bring a handful of salt and place it in a glass of water. The student drank and grimaced. It was unbearably bitter. The teacher then asked him to throw the same handful of salt into a nearby lake. When the student drank from the lake, the water tasted pure. The master smiled. "Suffering is like salt," he said. "The bitterness doesn't change. What changes is the space we give it. When we widen our perspective, our pain becomes manageable. When we see life as a journey of growth, even our suffering becomes meaningful." This shift from, "Why is this happening to me?" to, "What is this teaching me?" marks the beginning of emotional maturity and spiritual awakening. In Buddhism, growth is not linear. Enlightenment doesn't come from comfort, but from surrendering to the unknown. And often, it's the moments of greatest chaos that bring about the deepest transformation. Think of the butterfly struggling to emerge from its cocoon. If helped, its wings remain too weak to fly. The struggle is not a punishment. It's a preparation. In our lives, every painful goodbye, every shattered plan, every closed door might just be the opening to something far greater than we can currently see. Life will not always give us what we want, but it always gives us what we need to evolve. The Dharma, the natural law of life, reminds us that everything is unfolding with purpose, even if we don't understand it yet. Just as rivers flow to the ocean without maps, our lives too are guided by a quiet intelligence that transcends logic. There's another story about a man caught in a storm at sea. He struggled to stay afloat, fighting the waves until exhaustion overwhelmed him. Eventually, he let go, and the current carried him safely back to shore. Sometimes, it is our resistance that causes our suffering. When we stop fighting and trust the current, peace returns. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means surrendering the illusion that we are in control of life's outcomes. We can act with intention, but we must release attachment to results. This principle is called non-attachment, not indifference, but freedom. Freedom from the chains of expectation, freedom from the prison of perfection, freedom to simply be. Our suffering deepens when we cling to people, outcomes, or identities. We believe that our happiness lies in certain circumstances, and when those dissolve, we fall into despair. But Buddhism teaches us to love without possession, to act without obsession, to live without resistance. The mind, if left untamed, will constantly seek security. It wants guarantees. It craves control. But the truth is, life is not meant to be controlled. It's meant to be lived. Imagine holding a handful of sand. The tighter you grip, the more it slips away. But if you open your palm, it stays. In letting go, we begin to trust life. This trust is not passive. It's an active surrender, a quiet strength. It's saying, even though I don't know what tomorrow holds, I choose to meet today with presence. The Buddhist concept of equanimity, inner balance, arises from this trust. When neither praise nor blame can disturb our peace, when joy and sorrow flow through us without breaking our center, we have discovered true freedom. One of the Buddha's most profound teachings was this: if someone gives you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does it belong? Anger, criticism, negativity, they are gifts we do not have to take. When someone insults you, you can choose not to carry their pain. When life changes suddenly, you can choose not to be shattered. When fear knocks, you can choose stillness. Stillness is not inaction. It is wise presence. It is the ground beneath your feet, even when the world shakes. To cultivate this presence, we turn to mindfulness. Mindfulness is the art of remembering to come back to the breath, to this moment, to ourselves. When chaos arises, mindfulness is our anchor. When we are lost in thoughts of what if or why me, mindfulness brings us home. Home, not to a place, but to an inner clarity that no circumstance can take away. Buddhist practice does not remove difficulty. It redefines it. It turns pain into a portal, endings into beginnings, loss into liberation. And over time, we begin to see a deeper pattern. We remember the job we lost that led to a calling, the heartbreak that birthed self-love, the failure that gave rise to new wisdom. With each challenge, we become more whole, not despite suffering, but because of how we meet it. We stop asking, how can I avoid the storm? And start wondering, how can I dance in the rain? This is the invitation of the Buddhist path, not to escape life, but to awaken within it, to recognize that nothing is random, that every person we meet, every turn we take, every delay or detour, they are all threads in a vast, sacred tapestry. We may not see the full design, but we can learn to trust the weaver. So, if your life feels uncertain right now, if you are carrying pain or questioning why things are happening the way they are, take heart. You are not alone. You are not off course. You are on the path. Let this moment, even in its confusion, be your teacher. Let it shape you, not by hardening, but by softening, not by explaining, but by surrendering. In this letting go, in this trusting, in this deep listening, we find peace, not because everything makes sense, but because we've made peace with not needing it to. And that is the beginning of true freedom. If this message has brought you comfort, insight, or clarity, I invite you to continue walking with us. Subscribe to The Enlightened Mind for more Buddhist wisdom to help you meet life with presence and grace. And if someone you know is navigating uncertainty, share this with them. Sometimes the gentlest truths can light the darkest paths. Until we meet again, breathe deeply, live gently, and trust the path, even when you can't yet see where it leads.